Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Hello, children, and we are back with a new story from the Bible.
Yes, it's story time.
Who are you telling us about today, Holy?
Today I'll be telling you the story of Rebekah.
Rebekah? Wow, that's such a beautiful name. I wish my name was Rebekah.
But your name is cute too, Freckles.
That it is.
All right, then let us begin listening to the story of Rebekah, the woman who relied on her own strength instead of trusting the Lord completely. Rebekah was the young wife of Isaac and the mother of Jacob and Esau. She was the daughter of Bethuel. When Isaac was a young boy, his father Abraham was looking for a bride for Isaac. So, Abraham sent one of his servants to the city of Nahor to find a suitable bride for Isaac. The servant looked everywhere in the city but did not find one. He was tired and exhausted, so he sat near the well to rest. While he rested, he prayed to God that the next young woman who came to the well and gave him water to drink will be the girl chosen as Isaac's bride. As he prayed, Rebekah came to the well to get some water with a jar on her shoulder. She saw the servant tired and exhausted, so she offered him and his camel some water to drink and some food to eat. Immediately, the servant knew that Rebekah was the girl who God had sent to be Isaac's wife. The servant brought Rebekah to Abraham, and soon Isaac and Rebekah got married. Years went by, but Rebekah and Isaac had no children. Isaac prayed to God day in and day out without losing hope. Soon, God heard his prayers and blessed Rebekah with twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau were the first twins mentioned in the Bible. Even before they were born, Rebekah could feel the both of them fighting inside her womb. She prayed to God, asking him the reason for the two brothers fighting all the time. To this, God said,
Rebekah, you are going to give birth to two nations. They are both inside you right now, and that's why they are at odds with one another. One shall be stronger than the other. The older will serve the younger.
Soon it was time for Rebekah to give birth. Esau was born first, who grew up to become Isaac's favorite son, while Jacob was Rebekah's. In those days, the practice was that the firstborn was always entitled to receive birthright, and since Esau was born first, he would have inherited the birthright. This saddened Rebekah. She loved Jacob and wanted him to have it. It was Jacob who tricked his own brother into selling him his birthright for a bowl of stew. Later, when Isaac grew old and he was on his deathbed and could not see, Rebekah helped Jacob to deceive Isaac into blessing him instead of Esau. She used goat skins on Jacob's hands to imitate Esau's hairy arms. Years later, a lot of things happened, and Esau was finally able to forgive Jacob. When Rebekah died, she was buried in the family tomb, a cave near Mamre in Canaan, which was also the resting place of Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac. Later, Jacob was also buried in the same tomb.
That was an amazing story, Holy. Thank you for telling us all about Rebekah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tubby. And now it's time for me to ask a question, and time for you all to earn a brownie point.
Woohoo! This is the most exciting part.
So tell me, what was the name of the city where Rebekah lived before she got married to Isaac?
I know. She lived in a city called Nahor.
That's correct. So Freckles won today's brownie points. I hope you did too. Until next time, we'll be back soon.
The Holy Tales.
So who are you going to tell us about today?
Today, I was thinking of telling you the story of Eve.
Eve? As in the Eve of Adam and Eve?
That's correct, Freckles. We have all heard about Eve, haven't we? We all know how it all began with Adam and her. So, today we're going to hear the story of Eve. Eve is the very first woman in the whole wide world. She is the very first wife and the very first mother after God created the earth. God created Eve in His own image of woman out of Adam's rib and brought her to Adam and called her His wife. God said to Adam,
This is now bone of your bones and flesh of your flesh. She will be called woman, for she was taken out of man.
God then made a garden for Adam and Eve to live in and called it the Garden of Eden. In the Garden of Eden, there was a particular tree called the Tree of Knowledge. God said,
Adam and Eve, you should certainly not eat the fruits of this tree, or you shall die.
Eve was the first woman to meet Satan in the form of a serpent. Satan tempted her to eat a fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Satan said,
You will certainly not die. God knows that if you eat from this tree, you will be like God and know all about good and evil, just like He does.
Eve gave in to the temptation to become wise and powerful like God. She even gave some to Adam, who at first refused, but eventually ate it. They completely disobeyed God's command of not eating from the tree of knowledge. God was very angry with them.
What is this that you have done?
The serpent cheated me. He tempted me to eat the fruit, and I ate it. God asked Adam and Eve to leave from the Garden of Eden and toil and work for themselves. Eve was very ashamed of her actions, but she continued to be hopeful and faithful to God. Her faith and love pleased God, and He decided not to punish her by destroying her completely. He blessed her with children. Eve rejoiced. She learned all about compassion and forgiveness from God and had 2 children named Cain and Abel. And eventually, her descendants included Jesus, the Savior of the world.
That was an amazing story, Holy. I loved it to bits.
I am glad you did, Freckles. Now it's time for you to answer a question. Let's see who wins brownie points today.
Yeah, bring it on.
Well, my question is, what was the name of the tree God forbid Adam and Eve to eat from?
Oh, that's a very easy question, Holy. I know the answer. The tree was called the Tree of Knowledge of Good and Bad.
Well done, Tubby. That is the correct answer.
Yes! I win 1 brownie point.
Yes, you do.
The Holy Tales.
Which story from the Bible are you going to tell us about?
Well, I was thinking of telling you the story of Queen Esther. We all remember Queen Esther, don't we?
Yes, I remember her. So do I.
Yes, I think I do a little too.
All right, let us all get together and hear the story of Queen Esther, who was a remarkable woman and a great example of faith and courage.
Whoa! Girl power!
Esther was a beautiful young woman and was raised by a man called Mordecai, who had taken her as his own daughter after both her parents had died. Esther was chosen to be the queen of King Xerxes. She was extremely beautiful and a very elegant woman. She was taken to the king's court, and the king immediately fell in love with her. However, the king was unaware of the fact that Esther was actually a Jewish woman. Mordecai had asked her to keep her family background and nationality a secret from the king. Esther did as she was told. All of the Jews who lived in Israel were all driven out of their country almost 70 years earlier, and all of them were exiled in Persia. Esther's stepfather, Mordecai, was a man of great dignity, and he refused to bow down to Haman, who was a very high official and an advisor to the king. Haman was a very arrogant man. He could not take Mordecai's disrespect towards him, and so he plotted against him to get him removed from the court. However, Esther soon found out about Haman's plan. She got to know that Haman was planning to kill Mordecai, and she needed to do something about it. But she feared going up to the king in his courtroom, because in those days, whoever entered the king's throne room without permission was put to death. So, Esther thought about another plan to confront the king. She prayed and fasted for 3 long days, and finally arranged for a banquet for the king and Haman alone. King Xerxes and Haman came for the elaborate banquet, and the king was extremely pleased with her arrangements. Queen Esther then gathered the courage and confessed all about her ancestry to her husband and told him all about her being a Jew. King Xerxes loved his queen very much. He believed Queen Esther and was persuaded by her love for him. He decided not to punish her. Then Esther said, "If I have been able to please the king, and if he regards me with favor, then let him write an order ruling the death penalty of Haman, who is planning to destroy the Jews in the king's province." King Xerxes agreed to his wife and immediately ordered that Haman must be hanged in the same gallows which he had prepared for Mordecai.
Wow! That was such a clever move by Queen Esther to save her father and her people.
Yes, she was indeed a smart and wise woman. But most importantly, it was her faith in God which brought this wisdom upon her. Now, who wants to answer today's question and win some brownie points?
Me!
All right. So, today's question is, what was the name of the man who raised Queen Esther after her parents died?
Mordecai!
Excellent, Gumbo! You win a brownie point! Haha, these kids are super excited with the new story. Hope you enjoyed it too. We'll be back soon. Bye-bye.
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the 4th day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the